Welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about 5 stars that I want to win the Royal Rumble in 2024, men's and women's. Starting with the first men's superstar is Gunther. I think Gunther would be a perfect person to win the Royal Rumble. He is the favorite to win the Royal Rumble next year, according to some percentages, and I think Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship would be pretty damn good. I don't think Gunther should be a babyface, so obviously him versus Roman wouldn't work. First is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley sounds like a good WrestleMania match to me, and because of the injury storyline, Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble would make so much sense, and her dethroning Rhea at WrestleMania would be full circle, considering the fact that she was the last person to pin Rhea. Next up is Io Sky. Now, I think that Io Sky may sadly fail her cash-in, which would lead to a good story of Io Sky winning the Royal Rumble, maybe eliminating Bayley of Damage Control, maybe Dakota Kai, Liv Morgan. But Io Sky versus Asuka, we maybe finally get that Io Sky and Asuka one-on-one at WrestleMania. Now, obviously, I wouldn't mind Io Sky running it back with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania either, as those two women had a great match at Backlash. Next up is Solo Sikoa. I think that Roman Reigns should stay heel. I think the Solo Sikoa being babyface wouldn't even be that bad of a decision, to be honest. And though Solo Sikoa has been one of the top heels, eventually Solo's gonna break away from Roman, and Solo versus Roman in the main event of Mania would be actually a pretty good main event, and Solo beating Roman would also be a full circle moment. Next up is Dakota Kai. Everyone knew I was going to include this one on the list. I think Dakota Kai is one of the most underrated women in WWE and absolutely deserves to go after the top titles in the women's division. Obviously, by the Royal Rumble, I suspect that Damage Control is being broken apart. Imagine if Dakota Kai eliminates Bayley, maybe Liv Morgan, in the final two or three in the Royal Rumble. And I would also love to see potentially Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. That would be a pretty good match. And honestly, I think Dakota Kai should stay as a heel because I think it fits her better. Next up is Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is probably the top line NXT superstar and the only men's superstar from NXT that has a realistic chance. I think Melo will be on the main roster by the Royal Rumble. And to be honest with you, Carmelo Hayes, it already looks like that Carmelo Hayes is going to be involved in a rivalry with the Judgment Day, which indicates that Carmelo Hayes will be an established top star already. And I honestly would like to see Carmelo Hayes versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. A dream match. Next up is Bayley. Now, I think Bayley would be a good Royal Rumble winner, as it's been a rough year for Bayley, wins and losses wise. A win at the Royal Rumble, potentially eliminating Dakota Kai and maybe Io Sky, would help reverse the fortunes of Bayley around. And also, maybe, just maybe, there was a fatal 4-way at a live event, Asuka versus Charlotte versus Bianca, but I'm thinking something different. Imagine if Io Sky actually has a successful cash-in, and we get a triple threat: Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, and a triple threat match for the women's championship. That would be a banger. Next up is obviously Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton has won the Royal Rumble twice, but Randy Orton absolutely would deserve to win it 3 times. Even though Stone Cold's the only person to win the Royal Rumble 3 times, Randy Orton wouldn't be a mistake on that list. And I would love to see a potential... Imagine Randy Orton dethroning Roman Reigns. That would be kind of wild. Next up is Roxanne, and I think Roxanne is easily the #1 women's star in NXT to potentially win next year's Rumble. Roxanne's been overdue for a call-up on the main roster, and I think Roxanne should come in right away and be established. Also, I think Roxanne versus Rhea Ripley would be an awesome WrestleMania match. Next up is LA Knight. This one needs no further introduction. An LA Knight push at WrestleMania, culminating to a potential LA Knight versus Seth Rollins match. Maybe even Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship before WrestleMania, and us getting a babyface LA Knight versus Gunther. Either way, LA Knight winning the Royal Rumble would definitely get some people happy, or a lot of people happy. Let me know in the comments down below who you want to win the Royal Rumble.